This week, it's time for our annual Fantasy Critic special. Join us as we predict and draft the most anticipated games of 2026 on this week's HGO podcast. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another year of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan. Joining me, as always, is my good friend Hunter. Hey, Hunter, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
2026 is 2026, my friend. How are you doing? How are you feeling in this brand new year? New year, new you?
Oh, I still feel mostly the same, but the weeks off of work do well to build up a reprieve between the exhaustion that comes.
Well, I'm glad you're having it, because I've literally been having whatever this UK viral bug is. So if my throat sounds really raspy or gross, or I am muting my mic frequently, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We have delayed this podcast, I kid you not, 4 times now at this point. So we are on I've just been pushing this back and back and back, and this is we're running it close to the clock. So we've got to do it at some point, Hunter, and today's the day.
Yeah.
So we're here to do our fantasy draft this year. We're going to go over last year's results, and we're doing a bit of a, champion of champions kind of situation here for all the marbles. Kyle doesn't want to do it this year, so we thought, why not make this a hardcore test of who can correctly predict Open Critic scores in 2026 and turn the gauge up to 100. We'll see what happens. It should be interesting. We'll talk to you about the changes later. But yeah, welcome on in, everybody. Hope you had a good holiday season, whether you celebrated or not. And hey, let us know. Did you get anything good? I got some pretty good stuff. I got Oblivion remastered. I got Blueprints.
Oh, nice.
I got Expedition 33 on PS5 because I need another excuse to play that video game. But yeah, let us know. I've had all these games, Hunter. I've not played anything because, like I say, I've literally been sitting in bed with a migraine, a sore throat, and all sorts. So I've just been sitting there kind of getting through 2 hours of a video game a day and just going, maybe one day I'll finish something. But yeah, let us know what you've been up to, how you've been celebrating. And yeah, we'll get into all that good stuff in a second. Bit of housekeeping for you if you have not been paying attention while we were away. We did our Game of the Year episode last week if you want to check that out. Hunter put a review up on Christmas Eve for Detective Instinct, which he made after we did the pre-records for those episodes. That's why we didn't mention it there, but it is up if you want to go check it out on the YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it, so you can go check that out. And more reviews and more fun stuff to come in 2026, so keep your eyes peeled and posted to YouTube and the socials if you want to keep up to date with what we do outside of the show. Let's start this off, Hunter, with a look back, a retrospective, shall I say, real quick, to 2025. Oh, what a year. Can you believe that it has been a year? Can you believe that in the timestamps I put the 2024 results of the 2025 draft, even though I was wrong on both counts there. That's how clued up I am on the rolling over.
Oh, that's funny.
How do you feel about 2025 as your year, Hunter? Not just in terms of video games, just in general, how you feeling? I'll just, it's that time of
I
year.
think if we separate video games from it, it was a very not great year. I think video games were one of the better parts of the year, but you know how that goes.
It definitely wasn't one of the stronger ones, was it? Yeah, it wasn't a good year. Video games were alright, that was fine, but yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'll miss 2025, if I'm honest with you. Even with games, I
Nah.
don't think it's gonna be one where I'm sitting there going, oh, 2017, what a year. I'm gonna be saying, hey, 25 has some good stuff, but do you remember when everybody was just posting AI slop nonstop for 6 months? That was pretty sick. It's pretty good stuff. How'd you feel about your fantasy draft? How'd you feel?
Despite the fact that I didn't win, I think this is the best I've done in a given year. I broke the score for the 2 times I did win, so
I mean, let's go
That's
over it.
something.
I can put it up on the screen now with the power of editing. There we go. It looked ugly when we did it, but there you go. It's there. If you're on the video version, hey, you can take a trip down memory lane with us. And if you're on audio, as I say every year for this episode, God help you. I hope that you have an enjoyable enough time, but this is usually one that it helps to have the visual aid on this episode. It's like the one episode a year where it does help. That and box art ranking. But yeah, I mean, I think overall you had a really strong year. I'll let you talk through it because I don't want to damage my voice too early.
Yeah. So Monster Hunter Wilds was my first pick, and that was a very obvious first selection for the year since that was the biggest game that had a date at that point.
Yeah.
Uh, Round two, I picked Expedition 33, which is, you know, in hindsight seems like a obvious choice, but at the time, you and Kyle were befuddled that I took that in round
I
two.
Yeah, I was almost certain that game was going to be bad. I'm not going to lie. And what you've got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, is we hadn't had the developer direct. We hadn't had anything on this game other than, that Xbox trailer, which was a great trailer. I
It
mean,
was
Ben
a good
Starr
trailer.
saying to me, "So she will never paint again." I still get goosebumps every time I go back. That's one of those trailers that it's like the Zelda 2017 trailer. I just go back to that
Yeah.
trailer a lot and go, "What a trailer!" Um, but it was just one of those things. Was like smaller studio, first project. I just these things tend to end up in the 70s. Not the Expedition 33 is a gem and it's a very rare thing to happen. Okay, like Expedition 33s don't come out every day or else it wouldn't be
Yeah.
such a big deal. I'm happy I was wrong. It was my game of the year. But yeah, um, a great pick in retrospect.
Yeah. Following on from that, I went with Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta, which was solid enough as far as point value.
Yeah,
Uh, Wander Stop was one I thought would score me more. I think it deserves a few points more, but it's what can you do?
same if I'm honest.
Yeah. And then Earthblade got canceled before we got a single review out. That was one of the ones where it seemed like things just did not bode well for me at the very start of the year there.
Yeah, it was literally because we in the end we did this early, so we did it in early December because we were stacking a load of stuff up last year. And legitimately, within like 2 weeks of the episode going up, this game just disappeared from existence, and it was quite humorous, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, oh, that's cosmically funny in a game sense, but also very sad because it looked really good. Uh,
Hey, I mean, if it was meant to be, it was meant to be, and if it's not, I'm sure Maddie Make Games and everybody involved will make something great in the future. It will just not be Earthblade, unfortunately.
yeah.
It's a new
Next
Hunter
pick
curse,
was
though, is if he picks your indie game, it's got a 95% chance of ceasing to exist.
yeah. Next pick was Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which got me about what I figured it would. Uh,
Yeah, it's a Yakuza spin-off.
yeah, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound did pretty solid. I'm happy with that one. South of
Mhm.
Midnight, I knew I was kind of up in the air on whether that would get above 80 or get hit with the Xbox tax. But,
You're waging in Xbox waters, my friend. That's a game
yeah,
that I don't know. There are people who've played it who seem to be pretty down with it. I played it for like
yeah,
45 minutes, 50 minutes, and I was like, I think it suffers from just being, it's a decent game, but it's just I've been here, I've done it,
yeah,
and I think that's a lot of. At some point, I would like to have a wider discussion, to be honest, about great game critique and reviews in general. To be honest, because I think the further we go into this generation, the more low 80s, high 70s we're going to get. And I don't necessarily means that that is an indicator of bad quality. It's just I feel like we've reached a stagnation point um, in a lot of games. And so things are just getting slightly lower each year. You know what I mean? Where it's like an 82 from
yeah,
2021 is an 80 now or a 79 now because this
yeah, yeah.
generation feels
And
like the the longest in a long time.
yeah. After that, the thing I drafted was Coffee Talk Tokyo, which was slated to not come out. So Possessors here is a sub, and that was kind of just me picking one that had a date, and it didn't
Who's
turn
better
out
than
in my
zero?
favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's better than nothing. Unbeatable was the final pick of the initial draft, so it was one of those ones picking indie for culture's sake more than because I thought it was gonna do gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
After that started the humorous game of me overbidding you by a single dollar every on the next two with Citizen Sleeper and Blueprints both for stellar picks.
I'm annoyed about both of them, to be honest. I still am mad about both of them. Um, I'm not gonna sit here and act like a connoisseur of indie games. Okay, you know, I am a viewer of other fantasy drafts. The one that the fantasy draft video and community that inspired me to do this with our lot was Easy Allies because
Yeah,
theirs I think is particularly good. Um, it especially was those like first couple of years because it was new and interesting, but was because they were actually trying. I feel like with a lot of them, like not to name and shame like people like Kind of Funny and stuff like that, but you have like a halfway house if they have so many people involved that there's like 4 picks each, and then just like someone will just pick either the dregs off the floor, and it just doesn't feel as fun. Whereas it's like I feel like when you've got 2 or 3 people, it becomes like an actual game. You know what I mean? There's not enough
yeah.
games to go around. Um, and just to see, like, just again sweeping them up for like $1 more than I was putting on there, and I was sitting there going, "Oh, because yeah, of course Hunter knows about Blueprints or Citizen Sleeper, but gosh darn it, definitely should have paid more, should have gone for it."
Yeah. After that was Rainbreaker, which was, the typical Hunter season indie that he thinks might do all right, and it does less than he thought it was gonna. So,
What will it be this year? Put your guesses in the comments below after watching the
yeah.
episode.
uh, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 got all right.
I'll be
It's
honest with you. I think this got lower than it should have.
yeah,
Um,
that's it's lower
it
than
seems a
I
bit
was
low.
expecting because like what the 1 and 2 got like 88, 87 kind of range. I was expecting this to be a couple points lower than that,
Yeah,
but
because three
not
and four aren't as
83.
beloved. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Um Donkey Kong Bonanza, however, I think you and I are both kind of on the opinion that 91 is generous for that one, but
Bro, it's like
I won't
there was a
complain.
couple of dislikes on the YouTube version of our Game of the Year show, and I can guarantee that they're all from Donkey Kong Bonanza fans. And I just sit there and I go, and I'm happy for you. I like Donkey Kong Bonanza quite a bit. It's a solid 8 out of 10. But the fact that 91 second coming, I'm like, bro, we just had Astrobot the year before, and that was pure joy. Like that was what I would call pure joy, or Mario Odyssey. That's pure joy. Donkey Kong Bonanza is pretty good.
Yeah. Um, Next up, I picked up Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I think I picked that one up when I knew it had a date, just to keep with the ninja theme,
Hmm.
since Ninja Gaiden was also coming out, and that did really well. Silent Hill F and Luminous Arise were both pretty solid picks as well. I'm happy that Silent Hill F turned out to be as good as it did critically.
Hell yeah.
And then I rounded it out with Keeper from
Which
Double Fine.
I think that it's a hard one because walking sims and those kinds of games are very polarizing. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think it's a bit low. I would give it an 84 personally. Um, which is how you know that I'm an expert critic because I'm going 84. Yes, that sounds right to me. I don't know. 81 just seems a tad bit low. That's all. No Ace Attorney Hunter. You swore it'd be this year, and it wasn't.
It really felt like it was going to be at least announced in
No, it was
2025.
Mega Man's turn.
Why'd they shotgun two collections out in the same year if they weren't gonna do anything with it? It's so weird.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
That was most of the reason I was going off of that, and I think also I'm running out of things to try and will into existence and without repeating myself.
You might have to at some
Um,
point, dude. Might have
yeah.
to.
And then counterpicks. Mina the Hollower was Kyle finally took me up on the Suicide Pact, and that was what I counterpicked, and he counterpicked
So
Earthblade
lucky.
out
You're
of
so lucky on
existence.
this one.
Yeah, because this didn't end up coming out, which is what made the results of this race so close.
Hmm.
Because for a while I was like, I'm pretty far ahead, but I don't think I'm far enough ahead to take a 15-point deduction on the chin.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, that's
um,
it, that was where I was like, oh gosh, now it's close. I was, if me and the Hollow had come out, it would have been an easy victory. But
yeah.
alas, it wasn't meant to be. I'll talk about Kyle's because he's not here, so I'll talk through his picks. He had Elden Ring Night Rain, which was the first pick that I was also hesitant, similar to Expedition 33. I was pretty hesitant on that one. That one was valid, I feel, in the end, 80.
Yeah.
Ghost of Viote was pretty solid at an 87. Can't complain. Split Fiction, what a pick. He picked that before I could, and I was very angry at that one.
Yeah, that was.
Um,
I remember that being fairly amusing.
Xenoblade X Definitive Edition, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. If it's valid, it's valid, even if it is just a port. Slap that Definitive
Yeah.
Edition on it, baby. I'm not going to complain. Outer Worlds 2 scored lower than I thought. Not going to lie, I thought it'd be
Yeah.
much higher than 83.
After the previews came out uh, about it, I thought it was going to get higher than 83 because that's
Same. Some people were
not that
claiming
far
it's the
off of
second
like
coming. They were like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is.
until it actually came out. Yeah.
And then it turned out it
That's,
wasn't.
yeah.
Um, Crimson Desert didn't release, which it had a date for a long time, and I was like, I don't think it is going to come out, but I wasn't confident enough to counterpick it.
Yeah, it
Turns
was
out it
one of
didn't come
those
out,
ones where they were claiming it would be out in December all
and they
year.
pushed it to March now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, Pokemon Legends EA scored pretty low, to be honest, for even for Pokemon game standards. The only Pokemon that I know that dropped below 80 is Scarlet and Violet, and this one also dropped. Um, Listen, I'm not the biggest ZA fan, ZA enjoyer. Um, I think maybe it should have been a bit higher, maybe an 80 or an 81, but that's kind of lands where I would assume it would. Mina the Hollower, again, as we said, didn't release. Shadow Labyrinth, 69. I counterpicked this. Bang, bang, bang. Ethan knows a stinker when he sees it. Edgy Pac-Man, not meant to be. Double Dragon Revive, you nicked that from me. That was your counterpick.
Yeah, that was a solid one. He said that and I'm like, oof. I I almost want to caution him against that because
Yeah,
I don't think it'll do well, but also I need something to counterpick.
true. Um, but then, he had a good set of picks here with Ninja Gaiden 4, 2 Point Museum, and Fatal Fury Set of the Wolves. Those were all pretty solid picks, all in the 80s, so, can't
Yeah,
complain.
those are all
80s are
pretty good.
healthy. That's pretty good. Blades of Fire, again, I didn't even know what that was, so I don't know. I think Kirby Air Riders and No Sleep for Konami Date both ended up higher than I'd expect for both of those, so fair play. And then at
Yeah.
the
No,
end, I don't know what happened with Kyle, but it's as if he just went, like, he was like, the plane's going down, so I'm just gonna
let's go
point the
gambling.
nozzle. Yeah, let's go gambling. So yeah, Persona 4 Revival, unannounced Final Fantasy 9 remake, uh, both not last year, obviously. And then Octopath Traveler 0 with an 83, which again, good pick in the end, actually. And then he got his unannounced game with the Final Fantasy Tactics remake and an 88.
Yeah.
So, bonus
First one since
points.
making this a mechanic.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good for him. Got the first one of those and canceled Earthblade.
Yeah, and he cancelled Earthblade. Um, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, not the greatest of counter picks, but there you go. I mean, on the whole, if it wasn't for him having like 4 games not released on his list, which when you think about it, by average should boost him up roughly about 50 points. If you think that they like,
Yeah.
40, 50 points, It's not a bad showing. It's just unfortunately for Kyle, he had a couple of misses with Shadow Labyrinth and Double Dragon Revive. I think that was kind of his downfall. But hey ho, I still think it's a respectable effort.
Yeah.
Then you got my team, winning team. W's in the chat for this one. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. What looking back in retrospect. Um, Speaking of retro, uh,
Yeah.
start of the year, it's 100% coming out, and Retro Studios doesn't miss. Turns out they can make an Xbox 360 game from 2006 if you ask them to, Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
If you
favorite
had
part
told me
about
that
the
it was an
first
81,
round
oh my
of
god.
the last
Mhm.
year was that you thought I was going to take that first. And now being on the other end of that, it's a great thing that I picked Monster Hunter instead.
Ironically, though, and I say this from a place of love, Monster Hunter also does not deserve an 89 in the state that it has been in since launch. So how the hell that game
Yeah,
got an 89?
I won't disagree.
The game critics, they do make the funniest of decisions. Anyway, Doom: The Dark Ages again, 86, fine, can't complain, but a bit lower than I thought it would get. But
Yeah,
hey ho.
that was like the story of your draft in the first half was
Uh-huh.
okay, but doing lower than I would have guessed.
My first bang on prediction was Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I did say in the fantasy draft I expect this to be much better received now that people know what it was, and my god, was it better received.
Yeah.
Got a 90. Civilization 7, no one could have expected that to be as pathetic as it showed up as a
Oh,
79.
honestly,
This
that's
series is a series of 92s. Like, what are we doing here? It's like, it was free real estate, Hunter. It was free real estate. And it let me
uh,
down. Ugh, the horror. Um, Speaking of horrors, Borderlands 4 82. It's a miracle that that game got an 82. It did not deserve an 82. This was not in my original picks. I just went with a Hail Mary. Um,
yeah, I
I can't
don't
remember what
remember
was
what
originally
was
in my
there.
picks. I don't remember
Was it Grand
either.
Theft Auto?
Yes, it was Grand Theft Auto. Thank you. Obviously, it did not show
Yeah,
up.
because you picked that right before you picked
Hmm.
Silksong last year.
Yeah. And
You went back.
Silksong. It finally happened, ladies and gentlemen. After 4 years, I've cashed in that check. And hey, it worked out for me. I'm not going to complain. Rift of the Necrodancer did all right, bit lower than I thought. Keep saying the line, even. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD remake, that's fine, 85, can't complain. Skate Story was the last minute pick, and it was a good pick to do. Pretty chuffed with that one. Assassin's Creed Shadows got an 81, which I think is about where it should sit, to be honest. I think, if anything, I would
Yeah.
have scored it a bit lower. But hey, it's there. Speaking of games that should have been scored lower, Mario Kart World 87, that would have been a slam dunk gate like 92 in any other year, I feel. But I think, if I'm honest with you, I think it's valid. I think it's valid. I think Nintendo just, I don't want to say that they didn't try because I feel like that's a very bad way of looking at it, but it definitely felt like a safe bet. They didn't really,
Like they were coasting almost
yeah.
instead of
They were just like,
yeah.
oh, an open world. And they didn't think, oh, but what makes Mario Kart so fun is every track being unique and interesting, not a straight line between other tracks. But
Yeah.
hey ho, we'll see if that game gets DLC this year. Talos Principle Reawakened. Hey, you gotta take those free shots. You know, got pop them in.
I remember this being one that happened almost as if it was in response to blueprints being taken.
It was actually in response to blueprints being taken, and Kyle having a Xenoblade. I was like, well, things are off the table at this point. Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered has a special flag on here that says, after extensive Discord debate, we've decided that it's a remake despite it being called remastered. I agree. But
Yeah.
again, lower than I thought it would get. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, not gonna lie, 79. It's a good job that it got 79, if I'm honest with
Being
you.
in the ballpark of 80, I think
Yeah.
is plenty respectable for this.
Sword of the Sea, can't complain with an 87. Can always
Yeah.
we can always count on them to make a respectable scoring game. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, what a heavy hitter at 84 for a Sonic game. That's like hitting pure gold, you know. That's the meme, Hunter, of the guy in the mine who just stops before diamonds, and the diamonds for the Sonic community was Sonic Racing Crossworlds at an 84. Dude, that was it.
Yeah.
They finally hit it. I can't wait for whatever atrocity comes out this year. It gets a 72. Thanks, Sonic team. Once Upon a Katamari, can't complain. And then I swooped this up. I was like, will it? I'm like, go with the gut. What a gut it was. Dispatch. What a little sneak in that was at the end. 87. You love to
Yeah,
see it.
that's a good one.
I also want to specify this, the way that this works is the release date was the October date when episodes 1 and 2 came through. So I did have to commit to this before the ending. Not even before the ending, before episode 1 came out. So I did have to commit before any of Dispatch had come out. I want to make that
Yeah,
clear
yeah,
that
because
I
I
was not
think you
sitting there playing episode 6 going, this is fantastic. Quickly add it to the fantasy critic.
yeah, because some reviews had already come out, so I think it would have like if you had tried, it wouldn't have let you at that point.
Yeah, but OpenCritic didn't allow any of the reviews until the full game had been played. Because the full
No.
game was, they only got early access to episodes 1 through 4. And then yeah, unannounced 3D Mario platformer hunter didn't happen. We got Donkey Kong instead. I fumbled the bag on that one. Better luck next time, bozo. Shadow Labyrinth, not a bad counter pick. Got me a bony P, so I can't complain. And then Rainbreaker, which I lost 4 points on, but I'm gonna take that as a W to be honest, because it wasn't a huge loss. It was a
Yeah,
gain
it's
at
not a
one point.
huge loss. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like I think it was at like a 66 at one point, and I was like, "Oh, ouch."
but it did climb. It did climb out of
And
the
once it
depths
broke even, I was like, "Yes,
just a little
I'll
bit.
take it."
And I did it all with $57 to spare, ladies and gentlemen, so don't ever, count me out of the game. But, Hunter, that was all last year. It's a new year. New year, new me. We're doing a couple of things a bit different this year, ladies and gentlemen. Let me jot the timestamp down. But, what we're doing, Hunter, this year, we're adding a couple of rules. Obviously, Kyle's not here. So, we're adding 2 games. So instead of drafting 10 games today, we're drafting 12. Instead of having 10 free
Yeah.
spaces, we have another 12. So it'll be 24 games each. On top of that, we've got our Magic Space that we had last year, the unannounced video game. This is a game that is not announced, and I need to make that clear, okay? We had a quite a bit of skullduggery last year because Kyle knew that Final Fantasy Tactics Remake had been leaked, and he's still got down on it happening. Fair play, but we're not going off of rumor mill. We're not sitting here going, "Ooh, I think this is going to happen," because we know it's going to happen. Okay. I will not accept a lazy pick either. Remake of a PS4 game that came out 6 years ago. I'm not counting that.
Oh, Tales of Berseria.
Yeah, not counting that.
Uh,
I want something meaningful. I want something impactful, Hunter. I want something that makes you go, hmm. And then we're adding a counter pick. 3 counter picks this year, which is where it gets dicey because it was hard last year trying to get 2 down that I felt confident about. So might have to take a hit here. We're only doing 1 today. 1 counter pick today.
yeah, that's
Sounds good?
reasonable. And naturally, now is the year to enable trades.
No. No trades.
That would be really funny though, because it's not like we'd ever use it.
I know, right? How do I change draft order? Where is that? I probably should have checked this beforehand, by the way, but I did. Oh, there it is. Edit draft order. Manually. I get to decide where I go, Hunter.
Yeah,
And because I won.
yeah.
I
This
didn't
is
buy
for
a
you now.
crown. I'm sorry, I didn't buy a crown. I should have bought a crown. I didn't come prepared. I'm not gonna lie. I had a feeling that one of your indie games was gonna go up 5 points, and then I just lose again before the end of it.
Oh, that would have been funny. Like if blueprints or one of the ones that were already above 90 got a couple of last minute reviews.
Yeah, someone else played it and were like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest game ever made, mate. I'm gonna give it
Yeah.
a 105." There you go, perfect. Um, I'm gonna go second.
Hmm.
I feel like that makes sense. I get to do 2 picks first before you get to do 2 picks. We are doing snake draft, so it will go Hunter first, then me twice, then you twice, then me twice, then you twice. I don't know because I don't think we can
All right.
change it. I don't think we can change draft order to not snake. I don't think so. We'll find out.
It's really hard locked in. on
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I believe so.
Well, all
Because
right. I
it
was gonna
literally,
say I don't.
because it literally just says what. Maybe in a two-player thing it does just go backwards and forwards. Maybe in a two-player it does just go backwards and forwards. If it does,
Yeah, I was
then
gonna
I've
say
made
if it
a
is just
chronic
two of
lapse in.
us,
I've had
I
a
don't
chronic
think it's.
lapse in judgment, and I've just given you a free pick off the start. Which, you know what? Fair play. I'm
Oh,
just
that's
that kind,
okay.
Hunter. I'm just that
I
kind.
don't think our first round picks will be the same anyway.
Uh, you ready to start drafting?
Yeah, let's
Cool.
go.
It says it's my turn. I just edited the draft to be second. I hate my life. Well, guess I'm going first. I don't care, Hunter. We'll just roll with the rules. I don't fight the fantasy critic. I just live with it. My first pick. I don't think I'm gonna be a naughty boy. I'm gonna be a goofy goober. Do I think GTA 6 is gonna come out this year? No, I do, but I don't know. I just have more faith. I feel like I've got to do a U Hunter, I can't come back to it. I can't come back to a zero, I don't want a zero at my first pick because if GTA gets delayed again,
What do
ugh.
you mean you can't do a me? I spent 3 years drafting
No.
Zelda
Oh
first.
no, I meant I want to do U. Yeah, I want to do a U and get something that's good. Right. So my first pick is going to be in Capcom I trust Resident Evil Requiem. I just have a feeling, dude, and I want
That's
to
a
do
good
because
one.
this is the only one that I feel like I know that you're gonna pick up super quick. So I'm like, gobble it up like a little goofy goblin. Nom nom nom. Give me my Resident Evil as a fake fan who has only played one video game in the entire franchise. Give it me. If this turns out to be a whiffer, Hunter, I'm gonna cry.
I don't think it could. I reasonably don't imagine this getting any lower than like an 85.
I hope. Hunter, what are you picking?
All right. Well, you took the one bit of agonizing choice off the table for me. My first pick is Saros.
I knew you were gonna pick Saros next. I knew you were gonna pick
It was
Saros
between
now.
that and Resident Evil, so you made the decision for me there.
I know,
Uh,
right? Oh, you do get to go twice. Cool.
oh,
Lovely,
cool.
lovely snake goofy gooberness. We're doing goofy gooberness Hunter. This is the goofy draft. Right, what you
Mm.
get 2 picks. What's your next pick, my friend?
Hmm. The next one I'm gonna go with,
Hmm.
similarly, in Capcom I trust, I'm gonna go with Onimusha Way of the Sword.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, mate. I'm like, yeah, Onimusha, good pick, but also like you could have left that for later. You could have left that for later. I wasn't gonna stop you. Fair play though. Okay, Hunter, listen to this. This is also in the spirit of Onimusha. I'm gonna pick a game that I don't think you were gonna pick, but it's like it's the one franchise from Team Green that I do trust with my life. Forza Horizon 6. You cannot, you cannot go wrong with with this lot. They just it is coming out this year. We know it'll come out this year. And yeah. I'd feel like a fool if I did not have Forza Horizon 6 on my team. And I feel like it's in the spirit of the game that I take it now. Because I want people to know how smart I am when I go big brain car game that gets high scores every time. Gets big score.
Yeah.
If it gets delayed, I will cry. I don't think it will. People have been saying it's first half of this year, so I think the worst half that happens, it goes down to like October or something.
Yeah.
My next pick. Oh, I'm going all in on games that have not got release dates. But you know what? Again, go at you. In a show of good faith, Hunter. In a show of good faith, I'm gonna pick something that I don't know if you pick straight away. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave.
Oh,
I've got a
nice.
good feeling about this one. I don't know why. Like I say, we've got this theory, haven't we, Hunter? That first Fire Emblem on a Nintendo console is like the creme de la creme. It's the best you're probably gonna get, right? You know, Fire Emblem
Yeah.
Awakening, Three Houses, fantastic. I think that if Fortune's Weave is just Three Houses but better and running better because it's on a competent console this time, I think you're in for a treat. I do.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
also,
what I'm gonna
like, what
go with.
was it? Engage got, I think, like an 81 or something, which,
And that game's awful.
naturally, yeah, naturally you'd think that this one will be better than that.
Oh,
So,
it can't be worse. It can't be worse,
yeah.
Hunter. It can't be worse.
Mm. All
What's next?
right. The next thing I'm gonna go with is just sticking to the feudal Japan theme here. Neo 3.
Interesting. Oh, I
Yeah,
pressed
those
the wrong
games.
button. I pressed the wrong button. I'm a goofy goober. Neo 3.
It seems to be when Koei Tecmo locks in the most is for the Neo games. The other two were both pretty well received. I think the
Yeah.
only thing that might undo me here is the world finally becoming kind of tired of Souls likes.
What? That can happen?
Yeah,
I don't believe you. I think that's a solid pick. Neo always does relatively well, doesn't it? So it's one of the few that I think can release in this day and age, probably. You know, it's like Lies of
it
P.
was the one that set itself apart
Yeah, yeah.
before Souls got all of its copycats anyway. So
Yeah,
I
100%.
think that they still kind of got that juice going for them.
Fair play.
And then
What's your
for
next
my
pick?
next pick,
For my next pick.
uh, I appreciate Kyle holding on to it for the year, but I will be taking Mina the Hollower this time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair play. Fair play. I see something that I think is an issue here, Hunter, with this is as well is, you know, a lot of people are always like, wow, you guys play a lot of the same games. Like, we do, but we also play a lot of different games. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, when Kyle was here, I feel like we were stepping on Kyle's toes a lot. Like, you know, we were in his pile, you know, we had the finger in his pie. So we were like, oh yes, I also like this JRPG or this thing. Whereas
Yeah.
we have our own little lanes here where you can go and put Neo 3 and me into the Hollow, and I'm like, that's interesting. Because they're on my list here, but they're like way further down because I'm like, if it happens, it happens. Um, right. Well, I think this. I'm not saving this for later, just because I will put GTA 6 now. This is where I'll be like, okay, we've had a couple of fun. We've had a couple of. I've had some of my heavy hitters that will definitely come out, like you know, Fire Emblem and blooming Forza that both don't have dates, but. This is my new Hollow Knight Hunter. I will put this in the damn draft until I get it. This is it now. This is like the threat. Um, so I'll just put it now, so we don't have to worry about it, and then we can actually start playing um a more interesting game. I'm gonna go. In fact, I'm gonna get this one out of the way as well. I'm gonna be boring as well. In Insomniac, I trust. You know, Insomniac does not miss. It will not win Game of the Year, but it will be a pretty good game. Marvel's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Get the normie picks out of there. I don't see how it could be an issue. And I think it will be this year because Insomniac have spent a long time on this game now. It's been like 4 or 5 years since they started working on it. So 6 actually. It was the Miles team. So yeah, it's been ages. I keep forgetting
Yeah, I
how
think
long ago
Wolverine
Miles
is
Morales was.
pretty likely to come out this year. I think the only thing that might, you know, get in the way is if they run into a delay or something, then everyone runs from Grand Theft Auto, so it will go from being fall to out of the year. Unless, of
Maybe.
course, Grand Theft Auto admits that they're not coming out this year.
But that's equally as likely, I believe. But my gut is that it will come out. My gut is actually that, you know, Insomniac's so good at what they do, and their games
Mhm.
come out. They usually come out when they say they do. I wouldn't be surprised if fall turns into August, if they need to. That would be my like. I think fall might have been. Let's see. That's a rough window. It might be done beforehand, and they were going to like leave it on the shelf for a month or two if GTA was coming out in September, say. So we'll see. Anyway, you're up.
Alrighty. I think the next thing I'm gonna go
Mhm.
with is Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls.
You don't. Yeah, no, fair play. I don't even need to. It's down here. Fair play. That was on my next round of potential things. I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, I think that if people seem to like it from the beta tests and whatnot that have been going
Mm.
on. It's an Arc System game, so when they're locked in, that's a
When they cook, they
85 at
cook.
least.
Nah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good
So,
pick. That's a good pick.
and I think it's pretty likely to hit this year. I don't think that.
They've been doing closed betas for like
Yeah,
almost a year now.
yeah, and Arc System Works is pretty keen on. I don't think they've ever really, as far as I can recall, since paying attention to them, had to make some kind of massive delay.
I feel like there'll be a state of play in February, and I think we get a date that'll be healthy enough. Like it'll release in sometime in the summer so that Evo can happen.
Yeah,
That would be my guess. But yeah, I think that's a solid pick. But what's
and
next, Hunter?
then my next one, I think I'm gonna go with um, 007 First
Oh,
Light.
you absolute numpty.
See, now this is the problem: is we have our spread of different things that we're interested in, but also there are only so many your games with dates
I
right
know.
now.
Yeah, but I like living on the edge because drafting is the only time where if a game says will not release,
Yeah, it's the
you
only
can
time you
drop
can
it.
actually
So I
do
don't
something
mind
about
being a
it.
bit risky with dates here because I can get rid if I need to, unless you
Yeah,
counterpick them. But I don't think you're going to counterpick something unless you really don't feel like it's going to come out. Which a lot of these games, for a while, I'm going to be like, yeah, it's pretty feasible for it to come out. You know, um,
yeah,
fair enough. You know, respect.
yeah.
My next pick. You know, I'm going to do it. I have faith in this franchise to come back, kicking and screaming. Tomb Raider, Legacy of
Oh,
Atlantis.
yeah. I almost went with that instead of 007.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're due a good Tomb Raider game, and it looks promising. I think it's in good
You
hands
and I were both more into the trailer they showed
for
for
this
this
one.
one
Yeah.
than we were for the new one.
Well, that was after I found out that this one was actual gameplay, and the one for the
Yeah.
one next year is just all CGI. I'm like, wow. Turns out gameplay is better than CGI. I thought, wow, who would have guessed? So that's that one.
The
I
early
don't
Tomb
really
Raider games also just kind of have a vibe that I feel like is lost on all
lost
the
in the
later,
sauce.
yeah,
Yeah,
lost on all of the later attempts to do something with the series.
I agree. I agree. I'm just looking at the top available games right now, just to see what the. Oh, I went all the way to the bottom. No one cares about that. Just to see what the sickos are thinking. What are the sickos thinking? I want to make this clear, ladies and gentlemen, that if I was playing this with a normal person, I would not be making this pick so early in the draft. But for better or worse, this abomination is on my side no matter what. Give me Danganronpa 2x2. It will come out this year. It will be an abomination, and I will laugh no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, um, they've been working on this game for a while.
Yeah,
I
that
I
was
assume it will come out, but I know that this is the kind of game that if you're playing with a normal person, this is like your final round joke pick or whatever. Whereas with me,
or
I'm like,
something to
no,
draft after the initial one because no
yeah,
one's
but
gonna
I
be
don't know.
thinking
I just
about
had a
it.
feeling. I was like, there might be some Hunter might do it for the bit as well, and no, the bit must be
Yeah.
mine, and my bit. Get your own.
Oh, yeah. All right. I think my next pick, I'm going to go with hmm,
Hmm,
the Fatal Frame 2 remake.
interesting. Crimson Butterfly remake. Oh, it's out pretty soon.
Yeah, it's one with a date. Fatal Frame 2 was pretty beloved, so if they do it at
Games
least
with dates.
if they do it at least like respectably, I could see it getting a decent enough score. And if they do it like really well, then I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Fair enough. What's your next pick?
And then for my next one, I'm gonna go with Vampire Crawlers.
What the hell is that?
All right, so this is the dungeon crawling deck building game that's coming from the Vampire Survivors team.
Oh, this is Ethan Slip. This is an Ethan Boo Boo here. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, this game slated for this year, so hopefully it comes out. And never
Yeah.
really
It
be
says
too
early to
certain.
mid 2026, so you've got a bit
Yeah,
of a window there for it to be delayed.
yeah.
But that's a good pick.
But
I
no,
didn't realize
if
they
and
were
when it
making it.
comes out, I think it'll do really well because Vampire Survivors popped off in a way that no one could have foreseen.
Yeah, 100%. Um, I will double down. You've done a remake. I'll do a remake. You did a game of a date. I'll do a game for a date. Yakuza Kiwami 3.
Yeah,
The Kiwami games are fantastic. Kiwami 2 especially. Incredible. I know there's a lot of drama around this game currently because there's an actor in this game. I feel like I should mention this now, Hunter. There's an actor in this game that has done some very dubious things, to put it in a friendly way. Not a very nice person, and everyone's been like, get him out of the game, and RGG have just kind of been ignoring it and sweeping it under the rug when they've removed people from these games for a lot less. So I want to say I'm in agreement. I personally am not picking this game up straight away. One, because I've already played Yakuza 3 and I've got enough new Yakuza games to play. But two, also,
yeah,
I kind of agree. It is a bit iffy, and I wish they didn't. So, but we'll see what happens with it. But, sometimes, listen, this is a game, guys. I'm here to win. Sometimes sometimes you just gotta go with the points. And one guy being in it is not going to ruin, hopefully, a good streak for RGG, because they've been on a hot streak. Yes, the spin-offs always get lower, but my god, like when you think about like a Dragon and Infinite Wealth especially did gangbusters.
yeah.
So that's my first one. And then do I you see, Hunter, I'm already getting into, you've had that one. Oh, you've had Onimusha as well. Okay, there is that one. We're already getting into you've done a lot of sweeping here of stuff that has dates.
Yeah.
Running out of dates. I don't I'm gonna go for it. This is kind of, sometimes you don't get, I failed the vibe check a couple of times, ladies and gentlemen. The past couple of years, there have been games where everyone else has been going, "Wow, that looks sick," and I just don't see the vision. And then the game comes
Yeah.
out, and it does fantastic. I'll be completely honest with you now, Hunter. I'll tell you what the other one is, because I'm probably not gonna pick it unless it's like 2 rounds or 3 rounds later. But it was a pick between Control Resonant and this on which is more likely to come out this year. And this one's got a date. So that's better than not having a date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go
Yeah,
with
I see what
Phantom
you
Blade
mean.
0. Because it's at least got a date.
Yeah, that's fair. Ah.
And I don't know if I'm ready to juggle with that yet.
Yeah, Control is the one that I don't think is quite as likely. Uh, I think I when they had 2026 at the end of their thing,
Mhm.
I was baffled. I don't think
Yeah.
it's likely. Phantom Blade Zero has been consistently showing stuff the past couple of years since it's been announced, so you know.
Mhm.
And like even if they need to delay it, I don't know if they'd care as much about their game being close to Grand Theft Auto,
No.
since their date is like September or something.
It gives me very
So
much, God, I can't even remember. What was the game last year that came out? The Wolong, was it? The one that came out in like August, the same around the similar period. Um,
Lost Soul Aside, is that what you're
no,
thinking of?
not Lost Soul
Uh,
Aside. It was you play as
Black
a
Myth
monkey
Wukong?
guy. Black Myth Wukong, thank you. That's the one. You know, same genre, came out around that same time. There was massive games that were coming out around it, yet it still had its own audience and did gangbusters. I think this is the kind of game that's in the similar ilk where I don't think it matters what will come out around it. I think people will play it.
Yeah.
Can't believe I forgot the name of Black Myth Wukong. It's probably because I haven't played it, but you know. Right, you're up,
All right.
Buckaroo.
All right. The next thing I'm gonna go with is okay. I can't remember if the title is Zero Parades for Dead Spies or No Parades for Dead Spies.
I'm just
So
gonna type in Dead Spies. Zero parades for Dead Spies.
okay,
Is this the game
this
that's
is
made by some percentage of the
Disco
Disco
Elysium.
Elysium lot?
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that turns out.
yeah.
It's hard to tell where the talent was and where the talent kind of drifted because that of how that studio just kind of exploded. Um,
It's hard to tell when
but
that happens. From time to time in general. Like I
mhm.
remember, what was it, a couple years ago? It was the people who were behind like the Inside and Limbo team. They
Yeah, yeah,
split and at the almost simultaneously. I think it was a year, and then another year was
hmm,
uh, Somerville and Cocoon.
yeah,
One
yeah,
of those wasn't as good, and one of them was pretty
mm.
great.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Oh,
Next pick.
yeah. Do I have on this list here? Speaking of things from actually kind of in a similar ballpark to Inside and Limbo, I'm gonna go with Reanimal.
That's fair. That's fair.
You see, if anything else, the conventional wisdom is because Little Nightmares 3 whiffed, that
This one
means
will be better. Yeah.
this one will be okay.
I think that's what we call the 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 Callisto Protocol effect. I believe is what that's what they call that one.
Yeah. Uh,
Ooh, that one didn't do so hot. That means that the other one that comes out 3 months afterwards is probably going to be pretty okay. Um, yeah, that's fair. Is this my penultimate thing here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is. It's my penultimate two because then you'll get two and then I get one.
yeah.
Um, I This is a pick that comes from the heart here. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with Rhythm Heaven, whatever it's called, Groove, because Rhythm Heaven is a joy, and just the fact we're getting a new Rhythm Heaven is fantastic in of itself. Um, they usually score pretty well. I think it'll be pretty good. Um, so I'll go with Rhythm Heaven. And then hmm, it's getting harder to pick. Control's sitting there looking at me like, yeah. I'm like, no. I'd rather pick something that has a small amount of hope to come out this year. Does this have a date? The Does this have a date? It does. I'm gonna go for this then. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is what I'm gonna go for because Dragon Quest
Oh
has been on a
yeah.
bit of a hot streak recently, and I don't know. I don't think they're gonna let up the game here. You know, I think just because it's not HD 2D doesn't mean it can't be good. I feel like a lot of uh
Gonna get a it's gonna get a score as big as the one guy's chin.
oh, we can only dream of that. We can only dream.
Oh,
Anyway, there you go.
all right, I'm down to my last two here.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, these are your last two.
All righty. Hmm. I think I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with just two that are, or one here. Neverway is what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Another indie pick that might slip out, so who knows? But I think if it doesn't, it'll be pretty good.
Is this the indie pick of 2026?
Oh, it might be. Oh.
Let's find out. And then your
And
final
then my
pick,
next
Hunter.
one, and then my next one is also an indie pick, but it's more just one for the culture. Toem 2.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a good final pick. That's a good final pick. I love the original Toem, so that's a good pick.
Oh yeah, I really liked it too. So I'm eager to play this one. I If it gets the same score as the first one, I'll be satisfied.
That's fair. You know what, Hunter? I'm gonna end it with you here on an indie game. I'll do it for the culture, for the memes. Signing off, dude. Give me Bubsy 4D. Give me Bubsy 4D. I
Oh.
it killed Hunter's webcam. That's how he is enjoying it so much. I just have a feeling about this game that it's going to surprise people, and not in a
Hmm.
bad way.
I
I
do
think it
think
taught. Yeah.
I think um the reaction to this game getting announced was hilarious
Hmm.
because a bunch of people were like acting as if Bubsy killed their grandmother.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going like, okay, first of all, you people are acting like he hasn't had a game since 3D, which is funny because pay attention, he's had two other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right, Hunter. Your counter pick is up.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta
You got to
have a
think about
look.
it.
I gotta have a look here.
Talk me through what you're thinking. Talk me through it.
Yeah, it is tough because there are some where, you know, possibly will come out or get pushed out of the year. I think there's still the respectable chance that that might happen with Grand
Hmm.
Theft Auto, or even something like Wolverine, which if it runs into some trouble, probably will run away from Grand Theft Auto, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And unfortunately, we're both pretty good at picking things that are probably going to do well. So,
Oh, well enough. Yeah.
yeah. Hmm. I think what I'm between is Bubsy 4D,
Hmm.
just simply because even if it surprises people, I'm not sure that I think the ceiling for it is that high. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then another one out of these, I don't know. Tomb Raider's one of those ones where I'm sitting there going, I've definitely missed the vibe check on these kind of things before.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
But
I think I'm
where's your
gonna
heart
go with
going?
Bubsy 4D.
You evil person. He doesn't believe in the Bubsy future, the Bubsy generation. People are saying it's the new Donkey Kong Bonanza, bro. It's the new Donkey Kong Bonanza. Is that your counter pick then? Okay. I assume he's dead. His mic is. He's left this ether, guys. He's left this plane of existence. Uh, Hunter, you back? No? Cool. I'm confirming it anyway. Uh, it's too late now. If your internet drops, too bad, Buckaroo, because that means Ethan gets exactly what he wants. Um, right then. Um, I'm just gonna. I like when we're looking at this. I think Hunter's done a really good job here of specializing. Certain picks. There's some really good stuff here. Hunter's back. You back, buddy?
I am. I can. We have contact again.
Cool. Well, I've already confirmed your Bubsy 4D, so you can't go away from it.
All right, fair enough.
I also want to say that I 100% picked Bubsy 4D because I wanted you to counterpick it. I want to make that explicitly clear. There's a small part of me that wants this whole fantasy draft to live or die by Bubsy. I think that'd be a very fun idea. So thank you for
That would be
taking the
funny.
bait. I don't know if it'll be bad. It'll be good or bad. I've just got a feeling with Atari, they've kind of gone out of their way with their new kind of leadership and the way they're going is to because an indie dev's making this that came to them with a pitch. So I'm like,
Yeah.
if they're going for that, I don't know. My hope is that it gets like an 83, and people go, wow, someone actually cared about Bubsy and made a good video game. I'm not sitting there gonna get like a 92, but like an
Yeah, yeah, that's
82 or
kind
something
of
like
what I
that.
was saying was even if it does better than people expect, I think its ceiling is lower than a lot of these other ones, short of
Totally,
being delayed.
totally. So it's like I'm having a look at yours now, and I'm like, um, there's a lot of possibilities here where I'm like, um, you've made a solid list. I could pick a couple of them for different reasons, right?
Yeah,
I don't remember what the first Toem got, but I'm
I
not
think I
betting
got an
against my.
80.
And I think I don't know, 80 is a lot. That's 10 points. You know what I mean? That's a 10 pointer right there. Neverway
Yeah.
is like this is a Hunter Classic waiting to happen. Do I bet on the Hunter Classic happening in 2026? It has happened quite literally, ladies and gentlemen, every single year.
The first year was full of them. After that, it pretty much got honed down to one.
Even Hunter's dog is speaking up on the atrocities that have happened in these past few years. And I don't know. But it has, it looks it looks pretty interesting. Um to me it's between Neverway and Zero Parades for Dead Spies.
Yeah,
Just because
Zero
I'm not
Parades for Dead
100%
Spies
sure
is
Zero Parades for Dead Spies will come out, and also it is that kind of what if the team doesn't have the magic again? What if
what
the
if they
drama
what if
surrounding
they were the
it?
other guys?
Yeah. Like, I don't even know if are they the good lot? Are they the lot that everyone's like, yes, that's the one that I care about? Or is that the one that,
I've tried to
um,
make heads or tails of the situation with the whole group
yeah.
a few times, and I never managed to find like the conclusive answer.
And do you know what, Hunter? I don't want you to be cursed with Neverway. So I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go for Zero Praise for Dead Spies. And I'm going to hope that all the people that were talented were the ones that abandoned ship. That's what I'm going to do. That's what we're going for. Um, yeah, we'll go with Zero Praise for Dead Spies. That is what I'll go for. Lock my counter pick in.
All right, fair enough.
There we go. The risks are all there. Right. As we do here, we now have the joy of picking a dream game. This is how we round off our fantasy critic, ladies and gentlemen, is we pick a dream game. A game that we want to see this year, no matter what. Did we make a rule that we can't pick last year's as well? I feel like, did we make that a rule?
I don't think we did. I think it kind of feels that way, I think,
I'm
because
happy
I
to do
try
that.
to
I'm
just
happy. Yeah,
yeah,
we've
I've just
tried to be threw the
tried
coin
to
in
be
the
different
well.
every time.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that, man. I'm happy to do that. I'm happy. I threw my 3D Mario platformer into the well. I didn't get anything back, so I got Donkey Kong Bonanza. So there you go. I'm happy to let
Yeah.
go of that sacrifice. Um, I'll let you go first, considering it let me for some reason go first in the fantasy draft. So I'll let you have your dream
Mm.
wish come true. If you had the genie's lamp right now and you rubbed it, and I'm talking about the Robin Williams genie here, not the Will Smith genie. If the Robin Williams genie came out, the cool genie came out, and you were like, okay, what game do you want, Hunter? What do you want more than anything in the year 2026? What would
What
it
would
be?
make me the happiest?
Yeah.
Mm. This time, I'm gonna go with unannounced Castlevania game.
That is funny. Is the funny thing is, unannounced mainline Castlevania game. It's there, dude. You can do it. Publisher, pretty swell. Now I'm gonna add this, and I'm gonna hope that it goes into the slot, and that's how we did it. Yes. So go on, explain your reasoning.
Um, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Konami's finally back to letting video games under them happen again.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, and they've already got like Metal Gear Solid and Silent Hill are amongst their most beloved series already. I think Castlevania would be the third as far
yeah,
as
yeah.
things that like old head video game enjoyers really like. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and also they've been they throw out collaborations with the IP all the time. Anybody who asks for a spin-off kind of like DLC thing just
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
to get to have it. So I think if somebody were to just go and ask them to make a game, that they would be like, yeah, sure. Because that seems to be their policy with their IP now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to draw links, but it does seem like, they started spin up Silent Hill a while ago. They started, they're doing the Metal Gear Solid Delta remake, so they tried to, spin up at least remaking Metal Gear games. Not sure
Yeah,
they'll fully commit to making new ones again, but at least
yeah,
remaking them for at least a short while. And like you said, they've been doing collaborations, It's like I remember Silent Hill came to Dead by Daylight, and then a couple of years later they started spinning up original Silent Hill stuff, and it's like Castlevania was in Dead by Daylight. Was it just last year or was it the year before? So it's like they've started
yeah.
license. I'm like, they've started licensing it out again in a more modern way. They did the indie game recently as well, like,
It,
somewhat recently,
the
should I say?
yeah, there was the Vampire Survivors DLC that they
Yeah,
got like la- a few years ago. At this point,
yeah,
there
yeah.
was the Return to Castlevania for Dead Cells,
Yes, that was it.
and
Um,
there've been a couple of other ones. Like I don't remember what it was called. It was, but I feel like I've seen Castlevania's IP elsewhere in other games that I don't play even.
yeah. No, I think that's a valid shout.
Like I say with these, usually I settle for if it gets
Something
announced, I take
feasible,
it as a win.
something feasible. Yeah. For mine, there's so many ways I could go about it. There's a part of me that, it's like I would really love. For one, I like when we do these, it needs to be um it needs to be, in a I kind of want it to be a game from something we've not had in a while. So I don't want it to just be like, I could sit here and be an absolute little deviant and go, "Oh, what I really want is a remake of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. That's what I really want." Which, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I am the intended audience for that. I will happily take it, but I'm not. That's not the spirit of this. At the same time, there's the logic of me. I would love to say here, I would really like, Hunter, a new Xenoblade game. And I think there's a very high likelihood that we get a Xenoblade announcement this year. 100%. Because, Xenoblade 3 was 2022? Was it 22 or 23? I'm trying to remember when it was now. I'm going to have to Google this. I'm a fake fan, ladies and gentlemen. I think it was 2022. I could be wrong. Hunter is lagged out again. I typed in Xenoblade 2. I'm a fake and a fraud. Um, it was 2022. Hunter, I'm losing track of time. 2026 is a construct. I don't understand what is happening. Um, but yeah, anyway. So I could pick Xenoblade because it feels like it's been long enough, right? 2022, long time, 4 years. Something might, well, in all likelihood, it might get announced this year, to be honest. But also, I'm sitting there and I'm going, they're releasing Fire Emblem. Would they really release the two big JRPG franchises in the same year? I don't think so. But that's
Yeah,
just me.
it's not likely.
It's something I want, Hunter, but also I'm trying to be realistic with something that'll come out this year. You know? There's also a part of me that's like, I would love for there to be, I want to go through all the Nintendo IPs just because I'm like, I would love for there to be a new Smash Bros. Game, just so we can start saying that Switch 2 has something to look, it has games, it has something in the future. A new Smash Bros. Would be fantastic. At this point, Hunter, I'd take any new track from Mario Kart World that doesn't involve that world. You know what I mean? Just send me to
Mhm.
Zelda Land. I'll be happy as Larry. A new Zelda. Again, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd like it.
The thing about trying to guess a Zelda game for this specific thing is like it's
2D or
kind of
3D,
hard
you'd
to
have to specify. I feel like you'd have to
yeah,
specify either
you'd have to
an Ocarina
specify
remake, a 2D game, or a new 3D game is what you'd have to specify between the three. I don't think saying just
yeah,
Zelda cuts it.
yeah, unannounced Zelda game probably wouldn't be
There's a game,
specific enough.
there's a game that I've been hoping for a while. And I've been, will they, won't they, are they making it, are they not making it? And I'm going to use this as my plea to please, if you are making it, please just tell us and do it this year, please. Because, I've been asking Toys for Bob for a while, Hunter. I feel like I'm on my knees at this point. I feel like I don't know who I have to, like, I will buy another Xbox, Phil. I'll just buy another one and sit it in storage. I don't
That's what your
care at this
first one
point.
does.
Yeah, exactly. Please, I would like a new Spyro game in 2026. That is like my honest heart, my at least announced. Like you say, Hunter, I don't care if it's 2027. I don't care if
Yeah.
it's that's my dream. I know there's rumblings, but then there was rumblings about CTR, and then there's rumblings about this, and there's rumblings about that, and it's like at this point, I don't know what is real and what is fake anymore, Hunter. I really have no clue. One week, someone's
Yeah.
put something on LinkedIn. The next time, it turns out they never worked there. Whatever. Um, so I think that's what I am going to go for if I can find. That's the thing. So that's what I'm going to go for. That is my heart of hearts answer. Is I've been saying for a while that 2026 will be the make or break year for me, where it was like, if it is announced this year, incredible. If it's not announced this year, Hunter, I will stop. I'll stop pretending that it's going
You
to
give it
happen.
up.
I'm giving up the dream. Ball is in your court. Unannounced mainline Spyro the Dragon game. Ball is in your court, Toys for Bob. And now, if
Pretty
you're making
please.
CTR, I'll be extremely happy, but I'll also be very sad. Because that's what happened last year, where I was like 3D Mario or Mario Kart, 3D Mario or Mario Kart. It's got to be 3D Mario. Get a Mario Kart. There you go.
Yeah. To be fair, I
Can't
think
have
you
them all.
would when we were trying to manifest the Switch 2 into the year before, you'd picked Mario Kart.
Yeah, so that's exactly what it was, Hunter. It was for the love of the game. That's what it was. It was for the integrity of the fantasy draft. That's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our fantasy draft. If you are on audio, I will read my picks now, and then Hunter, you can read yours afterwards, just so everyone's in the clear here. For my first 12 picks, I have Resident Evil Requiem, Forza Horizon 6, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Grand Theft Auto 6, Marvel's Wolverine, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, Danganronpa 2x2. Want to put a pause in that. Hunter did not even question counterpicking that. That's the kind of madman he is. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, Phantom Blade Zero, Rhythm Heaven Groove, Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, and Bubsy 4D, with a
I feel like it
counterpick
would
of
have
Zero
been
Praise for Dead Spies.
harsh to counterpick Danganronpa 2x2
No,
when it
you're a
was done
sicko
for
just
a
as much.
bit.
Yeah, you're a sicko as much as me. I wouldn't have done it. Or maybe I would have because of jealousy. That's what I would have done. It would have been a jealousy pick. And then my unannounced dream game for this year is an unannounced mainline Spyro the Dragon game. Hunter?
All right, so my picks this year are Seros, the follow up to Returnal, Onimusha Way of the Sword, Neo 3, Mina the Hollower, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, 007 First Light, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake, Vampire Crawlers, Zero Parades for Dead Spies, Reanimal, Neverway, and Toem 2.
With your Castlevania game, Magic Castlevania game, Dream
Yes, the
Castlevania game,
Magic Castlevania game for my unannounced hoping to bring into the world.
and a Bubsy
And I
4D counter
counterpick
pick.
Bubsy.
Traitorous behavior.
Traitorous behavior.
Joke's on you. 2026 is going to be the worst year in video games, and Bubsy 4D is going to be the highest scoring game of the year. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. The Bubsy sweep is real. Jeff Keighley, get excited now. But no, guys, how do you feel we did? Did we do good? Did we do bad? Is there anything that we missed off that you think we should have put? Let us know. Obviously, if you go to the website hotgamesonly.com and you look on the top bar, we have a link to the Fantasy Critic. So as of this podcast going up, I will have changed that hyperlink on the website to come to this fantasy draft. So if you want to keep up to date and see how we're doing, see what picks we're making week by week, month by month, you can check it out on the website. It's there for you to view, follow it, make a Fantasy Critic account of your own, and make it your own with your friends. Do what you want. But yeah, you can keep track of it there. And then if you want to keep up to date, we usually do an update on these roughly halfway through the year. So roughly around June-ish, end of June, beginning of July. We tend to do a half-year progress report. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. 12 games is a lot to pick up.
It is a lot.
You're really hoping that GTA hasn't scared off too many video games. Because my goodness, I'm looking now and there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 or 7 games that I could have put, but didn't. And even then, they're more like bottom of the barrel.
Ethan sitting there like, how many games can I go before I have to go to Xbox's Wonder Year?
Yo, how many more games have to be announced for me to get on the Gears of War E-Day hype train? Choo choo, ladies and gentlemen. Fable definitely coming this year. Definitely coming this year. But yeah, we'll see, I guess. Be an interesting year. I look forward to seeing what comes of it. As always, our links are on screen right now. You can go and follow us on Twitter or Blue Sky if you want to keep up to date with what we do outside of the podcast. Next week, we are back to your regularly scheduled programming. We've got a couple of topic episodes coming out the next couple of weeks. Obviously, until Resident Evil, really, we don't have. There's quite a few games. There's a couple of games in February, but especially in January, it's dry January. And by dry January, I mean dry on games. Okay, so you're gonna enjoy a couple of topic episodes. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Cool. Square Enix is not pulling us out of the January gutter this year, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately.
Not this time.
But yeah. So you got a couple of topic episodes coming up over the next few weeks. So yeah, look forward to those. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now before my voice finally dies. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll be back same time next week for more. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Toodaloo.